Our population is growing in Toronto, and in the past, new construction has primarily been focused on the condo market. So density in high rises has been trending up, and density in low rises has been trending down, especially with an aging population in low-rise homes. Because of this imbalance, Toronto is now focusing more attention on building up density in low-rise areas. Recently, policies are loosening up to allow for an increasing number of units in houses like secondary suites and laneway suites. This new potential to increase rentable space has opened up a lot more opportunities for real estate investors, which is why houses are now attracting much more attention and appreciating at a very fast clip in recent years. The latest initiative that our city has been working on are garden suites. So in this video, I'll share the latest updates on what's been happening with garden suites, why you should care about garden suites as a real estate investor in Toronto, and what you should look out for if you're looking for real estate with garden suite potential. If you enjoy content like this, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you can see more videos like this made specifically for real estate investors in Toronto. Here is the timeline that garden suites have been through, and discussions started in late 2020 with the Garden Suites preliminary report. Last year, things moved quickly with draft bylaws created and approved, and in February of this year, 2022, garden suites were finally given the green light to go ahead. All was set up and ready for March, but we've now reached a little bit of a hiccup. Normally, before bylaws come into place, there's a period for appeals, but this appeal has to come from the Minister of Municipal Affairs. Now, an appeal has happened, not from the minister, but from a group of residential associations. Note that this means it's already invalid, but unfortunately, the Ontario Land Tribunal still has to go through processing the appeal before it can be dismissed. So right now, we're looking at a delayed timeline of around 6 to 8 months before ratification actually takes place. Having said this, garden suites will be happening soon, and now it's just a matter of time. Since there's now a delay, perhaps it helps you buy some time to really understand more about garden suites and why you should care about them as a real estate investor. Instead of needing a laneway to build a house in your property's backyard, garden suites allow you to build a house as long as you have enough space in your backyard. These houses are intended to be just like laneway suites. They aren't severable from the main house, and utilities are set up so that they are connected to the main house. Because of our housing crisis, the purpose is, simply put, to provide extra housing in our city, either for multi-generational living or rental purposes. As a real estate investor, you're probably more interested in the latter, so let's quickly go over why this makes sense. Right now, it costs approximately $250 to $400 per square foot to build a 2-bedroom rental-grade garden suite, plus design fees and permit fees. So after the project is done, you're looking at an approximate out-of-pocket cost of $300,000 to $450,000. And then after it's done, conservatively speaking, you can rent out that 2-bedroom house for a similar price compared to a 2-bedroom condo, but the cost of getting it is significantly less than a 2-bedroom condo in Toronto today. So from purely a rent yield standpoint, it already makes sense. In terms of market appreciation, I'd expect it to be worth at least how much you paid for and appreciate at a similar rate compared to average Toronto real estate, just like how a bigger house is always worth more and appreciates at a similar rate compared to a smaller sized home on a similar sized lot. The value add side is where things get a little bit fuzzier. Since these structures are extremely new, there are not many market comps out there. I'd expect that because you do put in sweat equity to complete the build project, there should be a decent level of value add appreciation, especially when you value it based on cap rates. Now, if you're ready to start looking for properties with garden suite potential, what should you look for? For those of you who are familiar with laneway suites, I'll also try to put it into perspective by comparing laneway suites and garden suites. I'd say there's 4 things you should take note of: fire, parking, trees, and size. First of all, fire. Because the house is in the backyard, you'll need to make sure it's fire accessible and close enough to fire hydrants. In a garden suite, the entrance of the house needs to be a maximum of 45 meters from the main road and then another 45 meters from the fire hydrant. This is a stricter fire requirement compared to a laneway suite where you can be 90 meters away from the main road and another 45 meters to the fire hydrant. You also need to make sure there's enough room for the crews to get in between houses. In a garden suite, you're looking at a 1 meter distance from your neighbors, whereas laneway suites are slightly less at 0.9 meters. Next, let's talk about parking. Although you don't need any parking for the actual garden suite, you need to maintain parking requirements for the main house. In Toronto, a 2-unit main house will likely need 1 parking spot. So this is stricter than laneway houses where there are no parking requirements. Trees or the lack of trees are actually pretty important for garden suites. For laneway houses, they are a bit more lenient with a healthy tree removal program, but we were informed that this is not happening for garden suites, so a big tree over 30 centimeters in diameter in the middle of a backyard will be a deal breaker. When it comes to size, garden suite requirements are different, but not necessarily better or worse. If you have a lot that's too narrow and too short, garden suites can be a no-go. Generally speaking, the maximum width of a garden suite is 80% of your frontage. This is different from laneway suites where you can build all the way from end to end. So with the same size frontage, lots with laneways could be workable, but lots without them might not be. There's rear setback and distance to main house requirements, but laneway and garden suite requirements aren't too different, so I'll focus on where things get a little bit more interesting. With a laneway suite, you can build up to a maximum depth of 10 meters and a maximum width of 8 meters. In a garden suite, the maximum footprint isn't measured by length and width, but rather a maximum area requirement of 645 square feet. And then we have landscaping rules. Laneway suites require 85% of the area between houses to be soft landscaping, whereas garden suites are probably more forgiving, requiring 50% of the entire rear yard as soft landscaping. What this means is that garden suites can end up being more flexible in terms of where you put them in the backyard, and you can definitely get more creative and come up with interesting building structures in long and narrow lots. Of course, there's so much more to the bylaws and requirements, and this is just my attempt to summarize the top things to note for garden suites. If you're looking to dive into the exact requirements for garden suites or laneway suites, I recommend that you review the bylaws and contact planners and designers who would be able to help you better navigate that side of things. If you're looking to buy an investment property with garden suite potential, our real estate sales brokerage would be happy to chat. These days, we're seeing a more buyer-friendly environment, and there are some great opportunities out there that can work well if you're looking to build garden suites too once the bylaws are ratified. By putting in a garden suite, you'll maximize the value of your property. And from an investment standpoint, this means maximizing your returns and specifically rental income, which is great for your debt servicing ratios. If you're looking to further grow your real estate portfolio, all of these things will help you qualify for new mortgages faster. We're big believers in investing in freehold properties in Toronto, and if you want to chat more about this, we're ready for you. We can look at your requirements and preferences and then match you up with the best investment property that fits your needs. After we help you buy it, our team also provides renovations guidance, leasing, and property management if you need it. So just connect with us if you want to learn more about our services by heading to the link in the description below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and look for us on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn if you want to hear from us more regularly. I wish you all the best in your real estate investing journey. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.